Hi everyone, and welcome to week 26 of the ABCs of Contentment. We made it to the finish line. Today we're on the letter Z. Z stands for Zion. Zion is a mountain. It's thought of as the mountain of life. We have two verses today. And the first verse that goes with this is Hebrews 12, chapter 12, verses 22 and 24. And it says, "But you have come to Mount Zion, the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem. You have come to thousands upon thousands of angels in joyful assembly, to the church of the firstborn, whose names are written in heaven. You have come to God, the judge of all, to the spirits of the righteous made perfect, to Jesus, the mediator of a new covenant, whose blood of a new covenant to the sprinkled blood, whose word speaks better than the blood of Abel." I did it! Yay! If you didn't already know, it's not often talked about in the church. So let's just say it's been kind of a challenge to memorize that verse this week. But as you can see, I just did it. So yay, that's an accomplishment. Ta-da! And then we're going to talk about two mountains. First, there's Mount Zion, which is thought as the mountain of heaven, hence that verse. And then there's Mount Sinai, which is thought of as the mountain of death. The first place that Mount Sinai is mentioned is at the beginning of Exodus, chapter 19, when the Israelites are coming out of Egypt. The Lord is talking to Moses, and in chapter 19, verses 12 and 13, he says, put limits for the people around the mountain. Be careful that you do not put limits for the people around the mountain. Be careful that you do not approach the mountain. Be careful that you do not approach the mountain or touch the foot of it. Whoever touches the mountain is to be put to death. They are to be stoned or shot with arrows. Not a hand is to be laid on them. Only when the rams.
No person or animal.
Not a hand is to be laid on them. No person or animal shall be permitted to live. Only when a ram's horn sounds a long blast may they approach the mountain. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty strong warning from God. I know my middle name is Danger, but if I lived back in biblical times, even I wouldn't want to approach the mountain. But you know what? Let's face it. I find myself on Mount Sinai more than I would like to be. Anytime I let sin sink into my life, a bad thought, even though I have enjoyed doing my video series, it's not always easy. Sometimes the verses can be difficult to memorize. I'm the type that my mom has trained me to be concerned about time. And so I want to get things done. I want to finish this or that on time. And my friend Jessica is always telling me, breathe. Sometimes to memorize verses, she and I make up songs. And sometimes I get a little frustrated, but I have to admit it works. And then there's times when we're getting ready for the video, and it's funny that we're talking about the ABCs of contentment because you look at me behind the scenes and you think that I'm not very content, right? That happens. But somehow I'm always able to pull it together, and with the strength of Jesus, I can do all things, including memorize these verses so I can share them with you, and including share these messages. You know, I write scripts so I can memorize throughout the week what I'm going to say, and then what I write, half the time, it's almost never what I say, but that's okay. A lot of what you hear comes from my heart, and that's the important thing, right? God knows the heart, and He knows that I'm climbing my way up to Mount Zion. No one is perfect, except God, that is. The question with the Christ follower is, are you on the path? Are you on the path to Mount Zion? Johnny, Johnny put it this way when she did a broadcast about Mount Zion and Mount Sinai. She says, did you know that biblical scholars believe that Mount Zion, Mount Calvary, and Mount Zion are in the same mountain ridge? It's all one large mountain. Isn't that amazing? But then again, so is our God. That's how badly He wants to have a relationship with us. He sent His Son Jesus to die on the cross. Jesus carried our cross, carried our weight of sin, and climbed all the way up to Calvary so that we could one day be in heaven with Him. Are you ready to trust Jesus and climb all the way up to Calvary? All the way up to I meant to say are you ready to travel all the way up to Calvary and make your way up to Zion? Jesus has everything we need. The question is, will we let Him be our guide? I know for me personally, if I didn't have Jesus in my life, I could not climb up Mount Zion by myself. I'd fall off a cliff. The weight of this world is too much to handle alone. There's even a song called We're Marching to Zion by Isaac Watts. I'll leave it so you can listen to it in the link in the description when I post my video. Well, that's it, everyone. It's been fun. Thanks for joining me for my series. But you know what? Even though we're at the end of the alphabet, you can still come back next week because I may have a special video. Bye. God bless, and march on to Zion.